All right. And I have been given the go-ahead to say that we are ready for the next run, which is Sonic Adventure run by Witherman. Go ahead and take it away.
Whoa, hello. I'm not Wither. My name's Squeefy. I'm on comms. I'm not running the game. But yeah, anyways, welcome in. This is Sonic Adventure. This is All Stories, which is one of the greatest categories of the game. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have 6 characters to get through. 7, secret 1. The secret, everyone knows what it is. And I'm joined with...
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Don't worry, get to it.
There's a secret character?
Yeah, we'll get to
there's
it.
7 stories,
know,
but
right?
there's only 6 characters here.
Don't worry about it. We'll get to it. But, anyways, Wither, how you doing? How you feeling?
I am doing amazing. Thank you for leading me in. My name is Witherman. I am the current world record holder for this game for a majority of the individual categories, plus the All Stories category itself. I'm joined here by Squeefy, as he introduced, but he is the world record holder for 130 emblems, the full completion category of this game. So both of us have been around the block a little bit when it comes to completion settings for this game.
That's kind of where we thrive, the longer completion categories, which are a lot of fun. Like, I genuinely recommend doing All Stories in Sonic Adventure. It is a ton of fun. But, shall we get started?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get this started. And time is going to begin when the screen fades to black. So, come along with me, everybody. Let's say it was Sonic. 3, 2, 1. Let's get down. And time starts now.
Good luck.
Accuracy doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
So, Squeefy, Sonic Adventure.
I know,
yes!
right? I love this game.
Yes!
No matter how many times I keep trying to escape, keep getting dragged back, we're still here.
It keeps bringing me back. I've tried to get out so many times, but I'm still here.
It's so true. But yeah,
There's so much game as well. You've probably seen the estimate. If you're looking at the stream, you've probably seen the estimate at this point, and you're like, goodness gracious, that's a long estimate. And you're right. It is a long estimate. Because this is a long game. So, as you can probably tell, this game's got cutscenes. Isn't that cool?
I know, right?
They're not skippable. Kind of.
There's an asterisk. There's a pretty big asterisk there. We'll get back to. But yeah. Also, gameplay soon. We've got another cutscene. And we get to start off with probably one of the easiest parts of the game. This game kind of it sort of eases you in before it just goes and decides to just destroy you. We go. Okay. But yeah, if anyone is interested in playing the game, I'd definitely recommend it. We have a few methods nowadays: emulator, console, GDMU. You know,
You have so many ways to play this.
we
game.
do.
You know,
We've got a lot of effort.
Sonic Adventure itself is kind of like vaporware. Like, this game doesn't really exist anymore much, you know? Like, the only way you can play this version of the game, practically, is on Dreamcast or on emulator, which, thankfully, both of those have become more accessible because of stuff like Flycast and stuff like GDEMU. Both of which have had, you know, their leaderboard legitimacy questioned in the past, but at this point have been pretty much ironed out.
Yeah, it was a bumpy road, but you know, got there in the end. Anyway, this is Chaos Zero. Chaos Zero's a very simple boss.
He's gone now.
Yeah, Chaos Zero's gone. We jump up, hit him, run back, jump up, hit, take damage. It's just a bunch of manipulations, really, and then that just does it. That's Chaos Zero.
That is Chaos Zero. Now, we're talking about completion categories. If I haven't had, you know, if you don't know me too well, something that I'm pretty big on is I'm very big on multi-game runs. That's, you know, categories where you'll play multiple games back to back. Like, right now I'm learning a bunch of those, but one of the things that really brought me to Sonic Adventure in specific is that Sonic Adventure is kind of like a built-in multi-game run. All Stories is real interesting, whereas I can't think of any other 3D platformer where you have to be good at 6 different games to be good at a category.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the whole thing with like the whole like 6 categories thing means that you don't need to play Sonic. You can do something else.
It's true. There's a lot of people who play this game as their primary speed game who never touch Sonic. Yeah. And I think that's cool. That's super cool.
Like the options are great. It's so easy to get in. Yeah, funny frame.
The funny frame.
There's a frame at every new cutscene where you have a frame for input and you can do funny stuff.
We are going to be getting into our first action stage. Sonic's got 10 of these things, the most of any character.
Sonic goes through basically every stage in the game, except for one. I mean, I guess you could technically say 2 for counting Sand Hill.
That's the sub-game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it counts.
I mean, maybe, it depends. But anyway, this is Emerald Coast, which is, even though it's the first level, this is deceptively one of the trickiest to get a really good time in. There is a lot of very small things that add up.
You wouldn't know it, but Emerald Coast is probably the hardest level in the game.
This is a reset point, for sure. Like, this is a pretty heavy reset point. Yeah, we're just gonna, what we're doing right now, we're doing a nice kind of alternating X and B to do a tash dash. There's a tash where it's like timing to it, it's like a piano roll. But once you get timing for that, you know, you sort of zoom on through. This is the main movement we're gonna be using for Sonic. Along with some spin dash jumps and spin dash hovers. Hovers being like, kind of like a spin dash jump except more vertical. And you reserve 4 frames by not jumping. Well, sort of like a jump.
Yeah, hovers are a weird whole technical thing. Oh, I forgot to press the X button.
Oh no. That moment you forget you need to press a button.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Easy backups.
There's a lot of things that a lot of people don't seem to do with this game, which I think is really important, is you need to learn your backups. There are so many places in this game where a simple backup can get you back on track. I don't think learning backups is generally a good thing. Look at backups.
Now, Squeaky, I've got a very important question for you in particular.
Okay.
So what do you like more? You like guitars or you like drums?
Okay, interesting. I used to play the piano. But I have guitars and drums. Probably guitar, maybe.
We got guitar.
Got guitar, let's go. Let's go.
So that's our first cutscene skip of the entire run. There's only 2 instances in the game. Well, not in the game, per se, but definitely within Sonic's story, where soft resetting during that cutscene when talking to Tails makes him shut up immediately. And the game hates you so much for being rude to your best friend that it takes the audio away from you. You no longer get music in this hub world.
Yeah, the music is weird. It's tied to some weird stuff, so sometimes it just goes, okay, I was supposed to play, but now I'm like in the wrong location, so it just refuses to play. But yeah, that was the first cutscene skip we got. Coming
up on the second one now.
Almost immediately with Sonic. Sonic gets like a couple back to back. So I'm going to jump over here. And this is where we can explain how the other cutscene skips work. When you hit a kill blade, as you're going for a cutscene, the game kills you and then resets. And it respawns. And that counts as you viewing the cutscene. Because the game doesn't care if the cutscene has finished, only that it started. So we are...
Yeah, unlike those silly DX folk, we don't get to skip cutscenes by pressing the start button, or those silly CX folk if you want to be pedantic.
Silly CX, I love CX. CX is a great category if you want to like get into the game, but you're not sure about whether or not you want to put up with the cutscenes. CX is a good option.
Yeah, CX is a modified version / code breaker code. It's kind of like action replay that you can use. So we have the category extension for it, and now what that allows you to do is skip the cutscene by pressing the start button. It causes some other funny stuff too, but that's not worth mentioning right now.
Yeah, some of those side effects, but it's not really that important. Anyway, that was Echoing It.
That was Echoing It.
That was Echoing It.
You killed him. You killed him by pressing the A button real fast.
Yeah, that's basically it. You just press the button, and then the boss kind of ends. It's like, okay. But yeah, we are This is another one of there are some. The majority of cutscenes have potential to be skipped, but there's also quite a few where it's like probably not, which is really unfortunate.
Also,
You also get to witness Eggman's ultimate aim, the greatest aim you'll ever see.
I chucked that emerald egg, man. I was swinging a miss. I think, okay, it's actually really funny. I remember the emeralds being even more ridiculous. When we get to Tail's story, you've gotta watch the emeralds in Tail's story. They go crazy. They are so funny. He misses so hard.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's right there, just throw it in. Just yeets it in a random direction. He goes, oh, you can pick it up, it's fine. But yeah, it's quickly coming to an end soon. We're entering into the second stage.
Yeah, we're going to be going into the second action stage. That's right, the square hole. And we need to take the awesome Windstone, which is going to be on top of this hill by Tails' workshop. And we got to put that into the little keyhole in front of Windy Valley.
Yeah, Windy Valley's a...
You wouldn't think it, but I've seen people lose runs to this.
Yeah, I've lost a run to this from falling through the stairs. No
awesome.
joke, it's happened. But yeah, throwing the Windstone into the keyhole. And here we are, Windy Valley.
Yeah, occurrences like that are actually a lot less common in SA1 compared to Static, though.
They don't,
you know, Sonic Adventure DX, like the GameCube and Steam port, is a little bit notorious for being pretty buggy. But SA1 Vanilla, the Dreamcast original, is like held together by Gorilla Glue. This game is tight, airtight.
Yeah, anytime we find anything new, it's a huge thing, because like, we didn't think we'd find that. That makes no sense. Why does that work? And it just does.
It's a majority, though, yeah. Like, the majority of the discoveries in this game are like, why?
There you go, same trampoline skip. Roll on there. Press A button as we fall down. Because if Sonic's gonna ball, when he's in midair, he can just do a homing attack any moment. You may have reset. Damn, that was a really early reset, okay.
Yeah, you can...
Wow.
So I actually found this out from watching Vadim during the CX tournament. You can reset on the way up.
Wait, what?
Yeah, if you go through an act transition of a stage, you actually, like, die in the middle, and it saves time on the death.
I need to remember that. Also, okay,
Yeah.
we're doing a big skip at the moment, we're kind of just talking about other stuff. Windy Valley skip, we are... Eventually, the way Sonic's gravity works is... When you go hit a certain speed point, like when you go past a certain speed, Sonic will sort of pull down to where his feet would be. And so you get like this skewed gravity, which we can extend and manipulate and sort of move around. And essentially, we just kind of fall diagonally to the end.
I love Windy Valley.
I do too.
It's one of my favorite stages.
I tried doing Tails Flightless the other day because I was messing around with it, and Windy Valley was a lot of fun.
It's so fun.
It really is.
Yo, I'm gonna try and not mention the chat too much, but a tea tree is in the chat.
Oh, no way.
A tea tree was, if I remember correctly, I really hope I do, I believe a tea tree was our host during the GDQ relay for All Stories. So it's fun that they're coming back to see more All Stories action.
Let's go. The Dreamcast curse, you get dragged in once and you can never leave. But yeah, we're doing some whole...
Statics.
Sorry, what's that?
Statics is a much bigger deviation for... Statics in SA1 have a bigger deviation than you might think, though. So even if you were around for the Statics All Stories Relay at GDQ, thank you very much. This is going to be a completely different romp. And as you've probably already seen, this game has taken quite a few different turns already. And it's only going to get more ridiculous as we get into the other stories.
There's so much stuff that's been found. And it's still being found, to be fair.
Yes, that's the coolest thing about this game to me.
It feels like we're going to just scratch the surface of what we can do with this game, which is so much fun. That it is so much just hidden that we still have yet to find. It's going to be amazing. And we've got the Lightspeed shoes. We're gonna go up here. And then we'll make our way over to Casino. Or Casinopolis. But for that, we actually need to get into the stage first. Ever play this game, you know...
How are we gonna get through the stage?
I mean, there's a button.
I don't like that button.
I mean, yeah, I'm not a fan of it either.
I did not touch the button.
Oh no, FTB.
FTB.
Oh. Yep. No, wait, go on. What about the pinball? What about pinball?
No.
No, what do you mean? What do you mean
I don't
no?
want to play pinball.
We want to play pinball. Oh,
No.
fine. Okay, no pinball then.
It's like the equivalent of going into the Chuck E. Cheese and then just yanking the stuff out the bag.
It's basically what we do. Also, that was actually really clean. You know, there's a wall there that has a push force, which this game loves. This game loves putting walls around, like invisible walls to block your path, and then like just a random push force that just pushes you away. And there's one there right in front of the emerald, and if you barely graze it, you're getting pushed back, and then you have to do the whole thing again.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to describe, but there's a giant C-shaped wall in that casino vault room that's around the emerald. And if you touch any of that wall, the game says, oh, wait a second, you aren't supposed to be here. And then just like
just yeet you back.
Grabs you and throws you back into the center of the stage. It's brutal.
Yeah, it's like...
So my movement through there was actually like very, very clean.
It's like you don't even need to touch. It's not like we have to the front of it. Like you can touch any part of it, back, top, bottom, side. It doesn't matter. You're getting thrown in that direction.
Sonic, cause Emerald.
Oh, so we're playing the Japanese version.
True, we are playing the Japanese version. We've gone 20 minutes without mentioning that.
I know, right? But yeah, this is actually an interesting thing about this game, where the region you play on actually can have different collision and different camera. At the moment, JP's most optimal has what's most considered to be the best camera, and also has a lot more skips have been found for this version. Mostly because this is just the one that gets run the most.
Yeah, as it stands right now, the Japanese version of the game was originally picked up as the primary fast version of the game, because this game was timed in RTA.
Yeah.
And the Japanese version of the game just loaded faster. Like, full stop, that was the first reason people looked into it.
Yeah. Like, the load times for GP compared to other versions were just ridiculous. To the point where, like, if you're running on, say, PAL version, you were losing literal minutes over the course of a run, so it wasn't... Being viable on that version wasn't the easiest way ever. But now, because we time loadless, JP is still the main category that's known about, but it doesn't mean the others aren't viable. Like, the others are still perfectly doable.
Oh yeah, the others are still plenty viable. Especially now, with the loadless timing, like you mentioned.
Oh yeah. I'm kind of hoping loadless means more people are going to look at other stuff in other versions, because there are some cool stuff. Like, PAL version has the fastest boss timers.
And inexplicably can skip Chaos 4 in Tails Boss Rush.
I still don't get that.
I don't know what happened there, but I know what happened there, and I clipped through that bridge. And
that may have looked like a clip. That bridge in that bottom corner simply does not have collision.
That was okay. That was an okay clip out. So that clip that it just did is exactly Sonic sized. It is extremely difficult to get out of. It is very, very small. And some people like to spam at it and pray. And while that could be kind of fast, it's very inconsistent. I have the exact angle that you need to hold on the analog stick to clip out, and the camera angle you need memorized. And if I can if I can get both of those to click together, then I can always clip out. But it's not something that can be taught. Clipping out in Ice Cap Act 3 is such a weird trick.
It is. There is a setup you can do using Sonic's ear, which is a little bit slow, but it's very consistent.
It's very consistent.
But it's like, once you get to a point where, you want to go fast, being able to remember the angle is kind of cool. I try and remember it, usually don't, then I just start spamming. I'm like, oh no, I should just set up. backups are
Yeah, it's
important.
like the stages of grief. You know, whenever you're like stuck on ice cap, the stages of grief you run through. You know, first you get there, you're like, haha, this is easy. And you try it with the angle, you're like, wait a second.
Wait a second,
Then you
hold
start spamming, and then you're like, wait a second.
Hold up.
And then you like keep spamming, you're like, oh no. And then you stop and you try and do the setup, and you miss the setup. You're like, oh no.
It's like the world is crumbling around me. Ice cap is such a strange stage. Oh no, wait, raisins, hold on. Oh wait, hold on. Sonic trips on a packet of
Me when the raisins
Trips on a packet of
are
raisins.
launched.
when the raisins are launched.
Head explosion emoji.
No way. Yeah, that was raisin launch. We fall for a war. Again, that's not a clip, that is literally just weird collision that basically doesn't exist.
I think that one's kind of more of a clip, because the collision is there, we just walk through it.
I mean,
That one's weird.
because when I've looked at it, it looks like there's like a small sliver maybe.
As if it's another Sonic-sized hole, that's hilarious. There's too many of those in this game.
Yep, there-
Like this,
Like, I've looked at
you find clip outs in this game, and they're microscopic.
Yeah.
They're the exact size of characters.
Like, I'm pretty sure that one's like a very small sliver. And the way the collision works in this game is strange. The game has checked for which side of the collision you're on, so it will check if you're on the inside or the outside. Sometimes it doesn't work, and so it goes, okay, part of you on this side, part of you on the other side. And it sort of just pushes you the wrong way.
And of course, we would be remiss to not mention Broby himself. The man that the Raisin Launch was named after.
Oh.
Found that trick, found a few other tricks, some really important ones. Was one of the first people to really push this version of the game, like Sonic Adventure Vanilla, very far in Sonic Story. This game's history would not be nearly as developed and not be nearly as... this game wouldn't be where it was today without Broby. Just not at all.
Oh, 100%. I mean, not just Ruby, there's a bunch of people that have like, got involved with bringing the game to where it is today.
Absolutely. You know, we have time to talk about history. We're going into Chaos 4. We gotta give something to keep people awake. So, this boss is an auto-scroller. It's not that interesting. He's gonna attack once in the beginning. He's gonna move 3 times. He's gonna attack, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. So, Broby was the first person... Broby and Icky, I would say. Both really pushed this game. But Broby being the first person to push it very far. Sonic Story was the category that Broby was the most interested in. It was the one that got the most development from him. But Icky was doing every story. And so was Aiden. Aiden was one of the first people to really put together a very solid all stories time for the leaderboard. You know, you might recognize Aiden from a lot of SA2 history as well. A lot of very accomplished runners have some history with SA1, which is very cool. But a lot of it's, you know, more recent than you might think. This game, despite releasing in 1998, didn't really start getting a lot of attention until 2019 and especially 2020. So, talking about this game's full game history, and not just the IL history, really doesn't expand that much further past those couple years.
Yeah,
You know, this game's history has very much more to be written. Pretty much the TLDR of that.
oh, for sure. Like, SC1 Dreamcast is such a strange history. It's like, people ran it, but...
I don't know if you have anything like history related you want to throw onto that, Squeaky, while we finish up C4.
I mean, to bet you know a lot more about the history than I do, that's the thing. You know...
I guess not.
I've...
Yeah. Chaos 4 is not a very interesting boss, as you can tell. He is now deceased.
I mean, we did not deal with Wiverlock there.
So, speaking of, like, relatively new history, we have a lot of new runners who've been playing the game recently, one of which is Must Include, who found that you can soft reset to skip those FMV cutscenes, like we just saw for a couple seconds there. That was something that none of us just decided to try, I suppose. And by doing that, it saves us plenty of time and gives us our lives back for some really important parts of the game. Soft resetting gives us 4 lives exactly, which is very huge. Especially with it does cost you a life to attempt or hit a cutscene skip, because you do die. So getting your lives back is a really big part of the run. Life routing matters a lot. You're going to see it a lot intentionally in a lot of the other characters beyond Sonic. Welcome back, Squeepy.
Wait, what do you mean welcome back?
I asked you a question, you didn't say anything.
I don't know what question you asked.
Oh no.
My brain's died for a second, I'm sorry, okay?
I just asked about history stuff, but it's okay.
Oh,
we are moving on
okay.
to Disney Fast Pass.
Disney Fast Pass, yeah, this is one.
Now, speaking of must include.
Yeah, also speaking of must include didn't find the soft resets. You found the one for Big, I believe?
What? Who found those? Was that you?
Yeah, it was me, yeah.
Oh, my bad.
You guys trying to pass off my work for someone else, what the hell? Might have work points this game, come on. But this
was found by Must Include,
was.
where you charge up a light speed dash and then use that to skip this cutscene here, and that was perfect.
That was. Have you not seen the...
You know, that's one of those tricks that you typically don't want to talk during, because it is kind of... That's one of those tricks that is so precise, so obnoxiously perfect, that it might as well be random. It's not literally random, kinda. It is literally random in some aspects, but it's so hard it might as well be. So the fact that I just hit that while casually explaining it is actually kind of crazy.
It is.
That's not normal.
It's really not. Also, have you not seen the new setup for that trick?
But
You can do a new...
yeah, this Sonic story run has been going
This has.
very well. I'm very pleased. You know, we're 25-ish, if I was to guess, minutes in at this point, and we've reached our first Sky Chase. So if you're in the chat, let me know how you're thinking about the run. I'd appreciate it. And how have you been thinking about the run, Squeepy?
I think the run's been going about as great as we can ask for. Like, everything you want to get, you've been getting pretty quick. But also, before I forget, have you not seen the new method for Fast Pass?
It doesn't work. It's so bad.
What do you mean it doesn't work? I've done it 100 times easy.
I can't do it at all.
Really? Wow, okay.
Nope. That's one of those things where it's easy in practice, but especially using save states, then you go to do it in a run and it never works.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I haven't tried it in run yet. I've got to be consistent doing it in practice.
Exactly.
But okay, yeah, that's happened a lot with this game. There's a lot of things where you can do it in practice like 100 times, like, yeah, I got this, this is no problem. You try and do it in a run and it just doesn't work, and like, oh, okay, then.
SA1, like, if we're going to do any more comparisons to SA1 with StatX, we'll probably have a few more throughout the run. But one of the biggest differences is just the mental game that SA1 requires because of its length.
Yeah, this is quite literally a marathon run.
Yeah,
Right.
no kidding. Because of the cutscenes and because of the just general slower pace of the game, you are required to be on top of your game for so much longer. Like, to just get a good run, you have to be laser focused and consistent through a lot of ice, like moments of getting iced. It's kind of like, this is an analogy that's gonna not click with a lot of people, but it's kind of like before every stage, it's like you're playing a set with Wizrobe. And you have to watch him walk away, get water, go like wash off, take a shower, come back before he sits down for the next game. That's kind of what playing SA1 feels like at times. The game's just constantly trying to ice you. It doesn't really let you play. But I mean, that's kind of what makes the run so sick, is that just knowing that the runner is like laser focused the entire time. Like, whenever I was watching Broby play this game, I would just be like, jaw dropped. Just how can you stay so good and hit so much difficult stuff after such a long period of time? I feel the same way watching Squeefy. You know, Squeefy doing 130, how are you 7 hours into a run? And you're still hitting the hard stuff. That, to me, is ridiculous. That level of endurance is so cool.
Yeah, it's it really is a marathon, though. It's like having the energy to go on for that long. It's, yeah. I do 130, but it's not the easiest category to do, I'll be honest.
130 is such a cool category, but it is so long.
It really is. Can be even sure. I think I've estimated we could probably do I want to say sub 7 maybe.
Yeah, I think that if 130 was to get pushed super, super far, like a 630 is probably like the most you could expect to get to. I didn't crash. Goodness, that was close.
That was very close. This is another one of those cutscenes where you can soft reset, go back to the menu, load back in.
But there's exactly like there's a handful of frames there in the beginning of that cutscene. My theory is that is the frames that Amy spawns in at, and if you soft reset during those frames, the game hard crashes. You have to turn the console off and back on to get out of the state.
Yeah, I've been meaning to look at that, but I keep forgetting. I'm pretty sure it's because AB spawns in.
You know, we mentioned Broby a bunch of times, but this is going to be another one of the times we mention him. This is a Canada clip. Oh, it's very tough.
It is. It's a balancing act, this one is, because we need to get high enough to clip through the wall, but if we go too high, the camera freaks out and we have no control.
Where am I?
There we are.
Okay. I'm going to need the camera back again.
Yeah, using the D-pad in this game, if you hold down the D-pad,
nice.
then you can clip it to where Sonic is. That's
Okay.
really nice, actually.
We're good. That definitely still saves time, but that trick is very hard. So if you go too high, the camera spins and doesn't let you through. If you don't go perfectly high enough, the wall will stop you of the building. There's like a razor thin margin where you can get through and the building won't stop you.
Yeah.
And the camera won't spin. And getting through there is like ultra precise. It's very, very
It
tough.
really is. The thing with that trick is that is the harder version to way to do that trick.
Now,
There is other options.
I am driving the car.
We're driving the car.
I don't think I have enough speed for
You
that.
should be fine. You go straight. Hold on. Recover. You should not have survived that. I'm gonna be honest with you, Chief. You shouldn't have survived that.
No one does it like me.
No one does it like you, apparently. That shouldn't have worked, but okay, sure. Sure, okay, I see how it is. Actually dying, okay.
I'm sorry. I can't commentate right now. That was really funny.
It really was.
Oh no. A lot of things went really, really wrong, but we're not losing like any time. We're
Yeah.
still doing fine. This is losing us a handful of
This is losing
seconds,
a
but
bit,
like
yeah.
whatever.
Okay, what Will was trying to do before he fell off the edge because he was laughing too much
Oh
was
no.
you can drop down the hole to coast start in ball form and then do a homing cancel or
Oh,
homing,
no.
homing attack forward, and you can sort of skip the coast start and then we jump across.
Squeaky,
but-
you're back.
I'm back.
You've been gone for a
I
while.
think I've been gone for a while.
Just network stuff. But did you see Twinkle Park? That was awesome.
I did. I was laughing about it. What the? Like I'm just there, like, because I'm here. I can hear everything you're saying, but apparently if it's cutting out on my end, I hope not.
That is so sad.
I know.
But yeah, so the Twinkle Park cart section is definitely not supposed to be that scary. I had a lot of rings. You know, so there's a consistent way. There's a consistent method where if you have 20 or less rings, you can just drive off the side and just neutral stick, and you always make it with a light blue car. All the cars have their own statistics. It's weird, but it's fine.
Yeah.
So that's consistent. But I'm crazy. So I like to take the light blue car and go for as many rings as I possibly can. I got really lucky and I got 50. So I was gonna try and set up for a trick called breaking and entering, where I clip into like that yellow arc. But because of how horrendously I missed the road, I ended up having to get a bounce.
Yeah, it was just sent you just skyrocketing, and it's like, okay then.
Yeah, I've definitely never gotten a bounce like that before, and the
No.
fact that I saved that was ridiculous because my controls flipped 3 times.
Yeah, because what happens in this game is, in the cart section, is when you go past a certain way, when you reach top speed, your control flips, and then you flip back again, and it just sort of flips and flops. You can get used to it, but yeah. Also, we're in Speed Highway, yay! What a Speed Highway. This is a very simple stage. Like, a lot of people consider this to be a breather, but I've also I've lost a few runs here just from like really terrible mistakes.
Yeah,
Right.
Speed Highway it's not quite an auto-scroller, but
Nah.
once you get really good at the game, it kind of becomes like just like a very middleman stage. Like it's one that you can just kind of like take for granted. But while you can't normally save time on Speed Highway, you can super lose
you can
it.
certainly lose time in
So,
this stage.
a mistake in Speed Highway is like super costly.
Like I've had so many times where it's like I've like messed up building jump, which is what we did at the beginning, using this spin dash shovel to get across that gap. I've messed up that jump so many times. You know, usually because I'm on a pace, I'm like, okay, I'm stressing now.
Yeah. Especially like we were saying, with how long the categories in this game are, keeping your composure for the entirety of it is so hard. Like you get near the 4-hour mark of a run, and you start sweating because you're on a good pace.
Yeah, I'm gonna clip up here because we skipped going into the hotel room, going through the hotel. There's a little bit of whole movement. There is a cutscene skip we can do here, but those are really hard.
It is very hard. The cutscene skip for this specific cutscene skip, funny enough, was the first one ever discovered, and is also the only one not being implemented.
I know. I mean, at the fair, the cutscene's not that long, so it's not end of the world that we're not using it. But it's like, yeah, first one found, and also the only one not being used. Which is kind of funny. I did recently find another one, but the problem is that one is actually really slow.
Really?
You can going into the wrong warping basically. If you enter Casinopolis, soft reset and exit stage on Casino, and then you can go back into Sonic after Twinkle Park, and it'll skip that cutscene.
What, this one?
No, when Sonic's in the hole out of Twinkle Park.
Oh, the one.
It skips that one.
Wow, that's weird. That also seems so not worth
It's
it.
really not. Like,
That's gonna be a running trend with that cutscene, probably.
yeah, it's like it's so short. The only reason that works is because the spawn point outside of Casinopolis is exactly the same height as the death plane outside the hallway. So you spawn inside of it basically. Which is a really funny thing. It's also a thing I'm looking into because I think there's so much we can do. Ooh, movement, let's go.
Yeah, my hub movement here was not the greatest.
Yeah, there's a line you take because there's a lot of lag reduction strats we take with SA1, and that's like one of the biggest ones in the game. So if you go too close to the trees, this game hates nature, basically.
Yes, this game hates nature and children. Both of them are so laggy.
Yeah, they really are. Yeah, a big part of this game is lag reduction strats, so we will sometimes take a path that may look a little bit slower, but it's actually faster because the game doesn't lag. But yeah, now I get to enter into Red Mountain. This is kind of the point in the point where the game really starts to pick up. Oh, yeah, that was close. In terms of like difficulty.
Almost got it.
Like the game has a bunch of like really difficult parts, basically throughout the entirety of the run. But this for Sonic is where things really start picking up, and it's really starts to test how you are, like your consistency.
Yeah, this, like, especially right here in Red Mountain, we're coming up on a specific jump once I get around this corner, where the camera is going to go into what I call Resident Evil mode, where it's going to make a switch and switch my controls, and I have 1 frame to react to it. I got it.
Nice, cool. Yeah.
So what I like to do is, at this point, I know exactly when I'm going to cross the trigger, so I flick my analog stick the exact frame that I'm going to be across, so that I don't have to wait.
Yeah, it's...
Oh my god.
Okay. Oh, damn, never mind.
It was going so well.
It was.
This Red Mountain was actually like fantastic until
Oh
no.
no! No, it's fine. It's IO strats. We didn't like the way that ended. We're just gonna reset and just get an IGT down. Let's go.
True. That's okay.
Yeah.
Even with a bunch of the silliest mistakes ever, it was still a 117.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with that.
Especially like an all story setting, because our basis for like all stories and single stories, like Sonic Tales and all that, are kind of a bit different.
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
very, very true.
Like with how long this category is, it's like okay, 117 is like in a Sonic run. I may be a bit like I'm not sure how I feel about that, but in all story, it's like you know what, it's not that bad. Like there's so many places later on where we can just get that back with no issue.
All Stories is such a ridiculously long category with so much to learn
Yeah.
that you can take small mistakes and it's like okay, just because of the sheer length of it.
Yeah, the sheer length of it just means that, you know, your mistakes aren't as big as you'd expect, so you can find other ways to do them, which is cool. Ooh. I love sketches too. Sketches is so fun.
Squeaky, please check your direct messages when you get a second. A message from an unknown speaker. Interesting.
Oh no. Okay. Cool. Let me go back to you. Cool. But yeah, anyway, so we're in Sky Chase. This is a long cutscene about? No, but it's basically a cutscene. We go on top right, and then we just stay there. So we've got about 3 minutes. I'm not sure if our host has anything they'd like to throw in while we've got some empty space. Or we're just chilling out in good old Sky Chase.
Absolutely, I can do that for you. So right now we are raising money for Somos Familia Vaya. Right now we have a couple of different targets that we can go for. We have the Metroid Dread boss rush, bonus boss rush. Sorry, that's at $20 out of 75. We also, for another Metroid game, we also have Metroid Prime 100% randomizer upgrade. We're going for $100 for that. And if we can hit both of those, we will be over $1,000. Let's see if we can hit that $1,000 by the end of that run, guys. We still have like 4 hours left of this, so I bet we can hit that. We also have a couple more. We also have the Let's Go Pikachu Eevee trainer name. Right now, the winning one is Osmorn as the trainer for $9. We also have the Pokemon Puzzle Challenge Pokemon Choice Bid War, and we are at Totodile at $20, and Cyndaquil is $1 less. So if you wanna donate $2 and make Cyndaquil be the leading Pokemon choice, you can do that. We also have Meryl and Pikachu is at $5. You can also, for just $1, donate $1 and name the Starmie, and you can also do the starter name for the other starter. And if you are donating towards those, please put what name you want inside of your donation.
Some sauce.
Thank you. And that was perfect timing as well, because we are coming up to the end of Sky Chase.
Yeah, we are coming up on the end. That was great.
Like we planned it. No, we didn't, but that was perfect.
That was awesome.
But alright, who is ready for probably one of the most difficult bosses in the game?
It's so
It
hard.
really is.
You see, you gotta line your cursor up, you put it right there, and then you press the A
I
button.
know, it's,
Like a couple times.
it's just so difficult. Whoa, let's
Wow.
go. Yeah, it's literally what just happened there is exactly how we do it. Line up, mash the A button. I mean, I like to mash A and X, but it really makes no difference.
Really? You mashed 2 buttons?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's
I didn't know you could.
yeah, I mean, A, X, B. I'm gonna guess Y probably works. I haven't tried it though. I won't be surprised. But yeah, I just mash A and X. It's the same time though. It makes no difference. It's a habit I've crossed over from DX in Dreamcast. Pretty sure it makes no difference.
Probably, but nice to know. But we are now coming up on Skydeck. And before Skydeck, we actually have another cutscene skip. This one is... So, the level of difficulty for this one, for me, is very varied. I've gotten so consistent at it, but this is definitely one of the more technically demanding cutscene skips, because it requires you to adapt, because the way you clip out isn't always the same, and depending on what state you get, it will change it. I remember I was struggling with this cutscene skip in specific a lot, but I was in person with Ethmar at the time, and Ethmar told me, hey, why don't you try a hover? And I tried a hover. And then
it just works.
I just haven't missed it since.
Yeah, because there's been a few ways to do that trick. At first, it started off as we do what basically is called a silly hop. Well, you kind of charge a light speed dash, even like a hop, I guess. I don't know.
It's like a silly slide.
Yeah, silly slide. Where you charge a light speed dash and we can move, clip out, and then you use that to make the distance. And then after that, it just became essentially just a clip out and a spin dash to get across. And then now we just do a hover.
Yeah, so actually, you know, while we've got some time to talk about it too, we could explain the silly state. So, just for the sake of naming convention and because it'll make things easier to understand within the community, we have dubbed anything that requires a light speed dash and another action a silly, like a silly blank. So the silly state is whenever Sonic is glowing light blue, like with the light speed dash aura around him after he's yelled, ready? So if he's able to do anything after yelling, ready? That's when he's in the silly state.
Yeah, and the reason we do that is because Sonic is a really fast sort of burst of speed going forward. You can use like clear a gap or something. And so we can use that to, you know, make jumps over areas we're not really supposed to get to. But we're gonna go through Skydeck, skipping the checkpoint. Okay. Being a little daring today, I see. Yeah, Skydeck is definitely one of the trickiest stages in the game. While Wither just kind of goes for it and goes, yeah, okay, sure. This game bows to me. Skydeck, want to sit back. Skydeck is a very difficult and tricky stage to do, but once you can start doing it and you can get basically what's happening right here and just kind of cruise through it, it feels so good. Which is kind of a common thing with this game. There's a lot of the stages are difficult, but once you get them down and you know the ins and outs of them and how to do them, they feel so good. Oh no! Don't grab the rocket. Okay. I didn't get Tastra out. No. Yeah, it's called Tastra. It's probably one of the easiest stuff in the game. It just got pretty unfortunate there. I blame the cannon. I usually blame the cannon. But yeah, that cannon, you can actually grab it as it's coming up. So if you're quick enough, you can get to it on its first spawn, like the first area it raises up at. Like it comes up at the same gap every time, but it moves pretty quick.
I got totally owned by that end capsule too. I tried to go for the early capsule, got no height, so I immediately tried to back up for the button, got it, and then my jump didn't get the full gravity I wanted, so I didn't land on the capsule. And then the capsule was like, lol, and kept pushing me away while I tried to jump on it.
Yeah. I mean, Wither mentioned gravity. Capsules in this game do have a gravity to them, not just the end of stage capsules. Item capsules also have a small gravity to them. The idea is to pull you towards them, but it does, like, you can do some funny stuff with it.
Yeah, so like if you're standing next to like an item capsule, like a ring box per se, and you're trying to like jump away from it, it will actually pull you towards it, and not like a not noticeable amount, like a lot. Like you will struggle to get away from it. It's one of those weird baked-in mechanics to the game, where it makes the game feel kind of strange when you're starting to play it, But whenever you understand how and why that works, it kind of becomes something you can use to get a lot of mileage out of.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's one of the things where on paper it makes sense because it's like, oh, it's first 3D Sonic game. We want to make sure the player can actually pick up the items and stuff. But then you bring those in, speedrunners are like, oh, we can use this. Like, oh, this looks like free property to me.
It's free real estate.
Free real estate. Let's go.
Speaking of free real estate, for whatever reason, in this fight, and in most of the character battles, Sonic's homing attack range is extended so much. How much is it extended, you may be asking? Well, I'll show you. It's extended.
Soon as we get into the game.
Soon. Okay, pretty normal.
Yep.
I wasn't even facing it.
Yep.
It can like curve around.
Yeah, it's I don't know why the rival battles for some reason have infinite range. It is a little bit strange because they still take place on the hub area, just with a giant ring around them. So I don't think it's the location. I don't know. It's strange. They just kind of infinite range for some reason.
Now I gotta say, this Sonic run has been going swimming. You know, like I've had a couple very minor mishaps, but like all things considered, in an all-story setting, this is going very well.
This is good.
RTA
Extremely well.
Like RTA for Sonic Story. If you want to get like a really, really good Sonic time in an All Stories run, your goal is sub 110 RTA. I would wager right now we're around what, like 50 flat almost? Yeah, I can kind of see it. So if we're around 50 flat almost, we could probably... Like, Sonic is the first 7th of this, right? Like, he's by far the longest part of the game, don't get me wrong. But, you know, there's a lot more to go past this. But for this Sonic time specifically, I think we could be looking at like a 105 or better.
Yeah, I could definitely do a 105. Winner. We're actually getting pretty close to the end of Sonic. Got a couple more stages, couple bosses left. Gonna soon come with my favourite stage in the game, actually. Good old Lost World, love Lost World. So
your favorite stage is also Lost World?
Lost World is so cool. It's literally, it's an ultimate, like, testing your skill. Oh, setting up for this is called Captain's Quarters. That one, I'm pretty sure, is actually a clip.
Yeah, I think so as well. Because, like, if you stand in the right position, as you saw, Sonic starts to spin like a Mario Party video game. Then Squeefy, you know, we knew this for like a year.
Yeah, we just
almost.
didn't have a consistent setup for it. And
then one day, Squeefy had a brainwave and was like, what if we just jump cancel?
yeah, because what I was doing, because I was like, because the thing is, right, when I find anything, I'm like, okay, first thing I want to do is I want to find a consistent setup for this so that I can explain it to basically anyone. So I was messing with it, and I started moving around. Like, when I move, he stopped spinning. I was like, okay, what if I just went straight up? I was like, okay, let's just do a jump cancel. Will that work? I was like, apparently that works. Because it used to be, Captain's Quarters was literally a Mario Party minigame. You had to time it to get the clip. And so it was kind of like, also wasn't worth it. But then nowadays, it's like, yep, simple jump cancel, lined up.
We'll have ample time to bring this up again. But I just want to point out, keep in mind the year this game released. This game released mid-1998. This game is gorgeous for the time that it released. And like bosses like Chaos 6, although his model looks very silly, look at those transparency effects. Look at that texturing. That is gorgeous.
Like when this game came out, right? I mean, like nowadays, like oh, texture's like oh, transparent. That's nothing. Nah, when this game came out, that was massive. Like
transparency in video games is so much harder than you think it is. It's actually like it's crazy, especially like double transparencies like Chaos 6 has. It's like just the water textures in general in this game and the just what it was able to accomplish in the year it released is insane.
Like,
it looks so good.
There's a very good reason why the main villain of this game is based on water. they wanted to show it off. Yeah. Very simple.
As you can see there,
Chaos 6.
we've done our first silly action as well. I did a silly throw to do the second hit of Chaos 6 there. That is going to be the final use of the Lightspeed attack. There are 3 uses of it. 1, to take out that Kiki in front of Red Mountain. 2, the first hit of Chaos 6. 3, the second hit of Chaos 6. And those are the 3 Lightspeed dash attacks you will do in the entire game.
Yeah, there's... Yeah, it's such a strange power-up. I feel like they wanted to do more with it, but never did. It would make sense if it worked with the upper bosses, but it just doesn't. Because like Chaos 6 does double damage, but it doesn't work on the other bosses, which I've always found strange.
And I don't believe it was actually supposed to do double damage to Chaos 6. If I remember correctly, the only reason that it does is because it's a leftover from Knuckles' maximum heat knuckle attack.
Yeah, but at the same time though, that doesn't work on Chaos 2, I don't think.
No,
So,
it doesn't.
I don't know. But yeah, I know we're like really late for this. Speaking of the Lightspeed attack, you may notice we never picked up Crystal Ring. Which in a casual playthrough, you'd be like, oh, why are you missing Crystal Ring? It's actually slower, like considerably slower.
Yeah,
So-
in a game with unskippable cutscenes, an additional cutscene we have to watch that we can avoid, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Even though we use the Lightspeed dash in this game a lot more than you'd see it in Statics, you know, you'll be seeing 2 more Lightspeed dashes in this run, one in Lost World and hopefully one in Final Egg. You know, you use the Lightspeed dash more in SA1 than in Statics, but it's still not worth it to pick up the Crystal Ring because of the hilariously long cutscene associated with it.
It is so long that we timed it, and you would have to do like 6 or 7, I think like 6 more Lightspeed dashes before it'd be worth to pick it up. And so it's like, there's really no point to it.
Yeah, think about that. 6 more Lightspeed dashes than the 5 we already do.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, at the end of the day, it's really not worth it. But we're in Lost World is my favourite stage. This is one of the stages where it really tests how much you've learnt the game. This is the pop quiz before the end of the game. I love Lost World. There's so much fun movement in the stage. Also, there's a lot of things in the stage that isn't used, which I want to use. There's a platform in the beginning of the first room, just above the roof, just around top, which I want to look how to get up, and that was okay. That was the cleanest door clip you could ask for. Now I'm going to enter the mirror room. The mirror room for us should be visible. For Wither, he's in the pitch black because he's playing on a CRT. I'm going to set up for, this is called Banana Route. Oof, nearly fell. From Lightspeed Dash, we're going to do the first instance of a silly hop, which is a spin dash jump, go. That looks like it made it, that was clean, okay. That skips the Lightspeed Dash trail and their waterfall. And we're now into the boulder chase section.
Wow.
No.
It didn't put me back into ball form. That is so sad.
That is so sad.
Alright.
It's fine.
I'm gonna take the boulder section super slow then, because I'm at 0 lives. Because of all the cutscene skips. But yeah, so Banana Route, which is what I just did with the Lightspeed Dash, it requires a silly hop. That's our first silly hop of the run. That is really difficult tech to pull off. It requires you to do the whole Dark Souls hand position on the controller. You need to be using X, B, and A all together for a bunch of different actions. It's a lot more complicated than it really needs to be, but it is very cool. Even with the death, it was still sub 140, you know, IGT. Yeah. I'm happy with it.
Yeah,
could have been better, but
but you know, again, this is an all-stories run, so it's single death in boulder. I think it's fine, and it's really close to the checkpoint anyway, so not a huge amount of time lost.
And this is our first look at Perfect Chaos's design. Sonic is looking at the ruins of the past this ancient depiction of perfect chaos destroying the world.
You know, as you do. I mean, it makes sense. Chaos is kind of like the child guardian, you know, if you attack someone's child. I imagine you'd summon a god to stop them.
Yeah, like, the plot of this game is actually really sad. Like,
really
the reason that Chaos is such a bad dude, the reason that Chaos is, like, such a, you know, murder machine, is because people keep killing his family.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd be killing people too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, I don't know. So, I don't know, I feel like I agree with Chaos. You know, someone who has worked with children.
Chaos did nothing wrong.
Yeah, Chaos did nothing wrong. I'd also protect the child by, you know, literally any means. The Chow are awesome. I mean, I may be biased to that, by the way. I love Chow. You know, I spent like 4 hours playing basically a Tamagotchi game for my category. Love Chow.
True. Yeah, we're coming up on the end of Sonic's story.
We are coming in Sonic's story.
This has been so painless. I can't lie. And I was a little nervous getting into this.
But this Sonic story is actually going swimmingly. Like, again, like I said earlier, a few very small mistakes. But this is looking very good. We do have,
you know, this is like
one more
on
stage.
par so far. This is on par so far with some of the best runs I've ever had. Like, like this Sonic story run. Yeah, I've had a couple silly mistakes, but I mean, I'm kind of on fire, really.
Just cruising.
So, all right, well, never mind. It's all gone now. The world movement was atrocious.
Oh, Hope just sneaks up on everyone.
It does.
Yeah, we are entering into final leg. And if this goes right, this is going to be one of the shortest stages in the game.
If it's good, you know, Prage.
Prage. The last stage and also
Give me
one
your
of the
energy.
hardest. Raise your hands. Give us your energy. Yeah, we're charging up a light speed dash. We can do a silly hop. Gonna jump up that. Ooh, okay.
Oh no, I'm out of lives.
Oh, no,
no,
yeah.
I
No.
exited.
Oh
no.
We've all done it. We've all done it. Okay, but yeah, anyone that saw that, there is a capsule just floating in the air. That is a leftover from like pretty sure like an old version of the stage, like an old layout, and it's just kind of there.
Yeah,
It's just kind of there.
like the original layout of the stage.
And the funny thing is, it still works.
Kind
Kind of. There's an asterisk there. It works, but it's slightly shifted. So we'll see where we're gonna land. There we go.
No. No. I would have been fine, but I panicked.
Yeah, okay, so basically, the collision of the capsule doesn't actually line up with the texture of the capsule. It's shifted slightly left and up a bit. And so, what we have to do is we have to land on the capsule, further left than you think, and then sort of inch your way forward until you're in the correct spot. So there you go, that should be fine.
There you go.
Because the trigger for ending the stage is on the capsule, but the capsule itself is slightly off-center, like off to the left. So you have to land further than you think and sort of hope you don't slide off, basically, because Sonic kind of likes to dance. It does a little
Yeah,
jigging
Sonic
slides.
will do 7 jiggles, is what I like to call them, in the direction that he's facing. And if you're facing, like, the direction that Sonic is looking when he lands matters so much, because there's so little usable ground there. Which really means that where you can land on the capsule is so much smaller than the collision would even like looking at the collision would lead you to believe. I've drawn a diagram that you can see in the Sonic Adventure Discord or in the tutorial video that I made of where it's actually safe to land on the capsule, and it is so freakishly small.
It really is, like, it's deceptive how small it really is. That's the thing that throws people off when they're going to find a capsule, is that none of that makes sense.
No.
Like,
None of that makes sense. I promise you, the Final Light Capsule is a very consistent trick, but not a single bit of it when you're learning it will make any sense.
No. It's like everything, once you got down, everything works. It's all very consistent. You know, you got your whole, you know, you have your setup for it, using light speed dash and all that stuff. But no matter how many times you go for it, it still doesn't feel right. It's a very weird trick, but it's also really cool. We're an Egg Viper. We're nearly done with Sonic. Woo! We're just finishing off here. Egg Viper's a boss which can either be really simple if you're taking safe strats, or, you know, can be a little bit difficult, depending on how we want to do things. When we're opting for the homing strat, what you can do is you can either do a spin dash jump to skip forward and hit Eggman that way, or you can do what Wither's doing, which is doing a simple homing attack. Both work. I don't know which one's easier. I prefer the spin dash.
Ooh.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
for me to get the homing attack and feel consistent about it, I need a little bit of speed so I can launch myself over the railing. I did not build up the speed like I thought I would, so I pulled back and I just decided to do it safe. I'd rather do it safe and lose a couple seconds than, you know, lose the run.
Yeah, which is completely fair.
And then for this hit, I'm not even going to bother.
You're gonna play it pretty safe, you know. We're gonna do a spin dash jump to skip some of the buttons because we can. It's not really that risky to do it. But we are playing this pretty safe. You know, we're nearly done. We just got Beyblades basically. And then that will be Sonic done. And we get to move on to other characters.
Yeah, I'll be going straight to Tails next. I'll be doing this in, you know, menu order. So, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Big Gamma?
Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, because Gamma's left because, you know, they put one of the hardest tricks right at the end of the game. So we're gonna wait here. There you go, Eggman's done, you can put the controller down, we're all good. Definitely nothing.
Wait a second. This is Death 1.
Wait, what?
I gotta get the controller.
No, it's fine, you can just leave it, it's fine.
Not in this game.
No, yeah, Egg Viper does actually lock into your position, unlike DX where it doesn't. This one, it does look at where you are. And then that
is a 105.45 RTA Sonic story.
I'd be very happy with that.
Yeah, like that was very good.
That was nuts.